first we need to understand who is providing the certification and who is handling all the certification related resources or products, right? So it all comes down to one organization called CWNP. So four tracks are there. So the first track will be called as a beginner level track, which is the certified wireless specialist or certified wireless technician, which is the protocols are very important for dev and QA team, and deployments are very important for admins. So that 802.11 protocols and standards is going to cover. So that's a high level view. So if you go somewhat in depth, right, you will understand what exactly does this exam is going to cover. So what is the primary difference when you take CCNA and CWNA? So see, that are the industry standard or gold standard, I would say. These two books are the best ones for CWNA. Instead of that practice, it's like more as a self-assessment. So if you take this test, you are gaining confidence and you can sit for the exam with passing criteria. Then I would suggest the next best thing will be the online learning. This practice test will definitely help a lot for pass rate, and regression is the key again. So I welcome you all. So let's dive into what we have in the store. So before we talk about CWNA, Certified Wireless Network Administrators, right? So first we need to understand who is providing the certification and who is handling all the certification related resources or products, right? So it all comes down to one organization called CWNP. So this is not a certification. See, when you say CWNP, it's the name of an organization. It's called Certified Wireless Network Professionals. So it's an organization that offers vendor neutral enterprise WLAN certificate. So this is the keyword here. So this organization is not associated with any of the Wi-Fi vendors. For example, I can give some examples for OEMs and ODMs, which are the original equipment manufacturers and design manufacturers like Aruba, HP, then Cisco or Comscope, who are the OEMs, and then Technical Advantiva. I can give numerous examples, Qualcomm, Broadcom. So this organization is not associated to any Wi-Fi company, right? So that's why the term vendor neutral. So when you take any certification from this organization, you are not controlled to any of the OEMs or ODMs. You have a generic Wi-Fi knowledge. You learn something generic Wi-Fi or enterprise Wi-Fi, which is of the generic nature, doesn't do any proprietary certification or proprietary subject knowledge. So that's the very important thing that we need to understand from this organization. So these are also group of individuals based in US and worldwide. So they take care of all the certification related things. So we as people, we pay them, we take the exam, buy their resources, and then we prepare for the exam, and then they certify us. So they provide the official logo in our certification, which is the CWNP logo that I have listed here, right? So they have a website where we can go and visit all of their contents or resources. It's cwnp.com. So that's their website. So this thing we need to understand. So the CWNP is offering vendor neutral certification, and it's purely focused on enterprise Wi-Fi. So enterprise Wi-Fi obviously is the type of Wi-Fi, and it'll also cover residential Wi-Fi as well. So when you learn residential Wi-Fi, obviously you learn enterprise Wi-Fi as well. So vice versa, they work together. So we'll move on to the next slide. So what type of certification does CWNP, this group of people, offer, right? So there are, I have put it in like what to say, like a chain, right? It's a track. So four tracks are there. So the first track will be called as a beginner level track, which is the certified wireless specialist or certified wireless technician, which is the CWS and CWT. So these are for very basic certifications and targeted at individuals who have who are going to work field work in Wi-Fi. For example, antenna installation, mounting of Wi-Fi APs. So whatever you see in the enterprise world, right? So these are very basic certifications. So these are targeted at specific individuals. The next level is the intermediate certification, which is the CWNA that we are going to cover all through this PPT or session, right? So this is where we are targeting at. So the CWNA is an intermediate certification that is mainly targeted at network admins, but it's not limited to network admins. I'll come to that point later in the next slide. So it's an intermediate certification. It also covers all the aspects of CWS and CWT, but at a in-depth level. So it doesn't mean that you need to pursue CWS first or CWT first and then go for the CWNA. No, it doesn't work like that. So CWNA is an individual certification. It's an intermediate certification that anyone can start with, right? So we'll check out the audience or targeted audience in the next slide. So what's the next certification is, you can see the professional level certification. So these are more in-depth, like providing more in-depth knowledge up on top of CWNA. So I would say once you finish CWNA, you go for the professional level certification, which is the CWDP and CWAP. So these are both have their own difficulty levels. It's not very easy to crack them. Trust me. So CWDP and AP will assess your analysis and design knowledge of the Wi-Fi technology or dot 11, 802.11 protocol. So one key thing to understand here is, to obtain any professional level certification, you have to have a CWNA. So that is the prerequisite for the professional level certifications. Then once you crack the professional level certifications, or once you do the certifications, you go for the expert level, which is the CWNE or CWNT. So obviously, so coming down the ladder, right? CW, if you want to take CWNE or pursue CWNE, you have to be CWDP certified, CWAP certified, then you have to be CWNA certified. The beginner level certifications are not mandatory for from intermediate level. So I hope you understand. Maybe you can park your questions in the last slide, as Vishnu told. I'll be ready to answer any of your questions. So this expert level, they have divided into two main areas. So one is the CWNE, which is the expert, and then CWNT. So that's the instructor level. So once you finish CWNT, it means that you are certified as an instructor. You can go and work in an organization or in a university, and then you can train individuals for Wi-Fi technology. So that's how the instructor expert level training works. So these are the tracks that are offered by the CWNP organization. Then we'll go for now, as I said, right, our main focus is going to be on CWNA, which is the intermediate certification. Let's see why and how we are going to take this CWNA. So as I said, right, in the previous slide, we saw the name insists that it is for network admins, but that's not where it stops. So it's a very important certification for developers working in the Wi-Fi, or QAs doing Wi-Fi dot 11 testing in their respective organizations, or admins. So I would say admins, they would come last. So I hope most of the people in the Wi-Fi nomad group, or in this CWNA enthusiastic group, right, we're all mostly we could be classified into dev or QA. There could be admins, I'm not sure, but we fall in these two categories: development team and the QA team, which is a testing team. So this is very important or basic certification for us. So and as I said before, there is no prerequisite for CWNA. So you don't need to write the for example, 1 minute. You don't need to write the CWS or CWT, which is a specialist and technician beginner level certification. Directly, you can go for the CWNA exam. So one prerequisite that I understood while doing R&D to write this exam, right? So you need some basic knowledge of networking. So without knowing the OSLAS or TCP/IP stack, or what an IP address is, or what an MAC address is, so some level of basic knowledge of networking that you should have either taken a networking course, or if you are working in the industrial arena, you already have some basic knowledge of networking. You know how networked devices work. You know how the internet works. You know what's a router is. You know what's a switch is. You know the difference between a switch and a hub. So you need to have some basic knowledge of wired networking. So from on top of your wired networking knowledge, when you take the CWNA, you qualify as a wireless engineer. So that's how they have designed this course. If you see the study material also, that's how the definition is. And what exactly does this exam focus? So this predominantly focuses on 802.11, the working IEEE group protocols and deployments, which are primarily otherwise known as Wi-Fi. So what we call Wi-Fi is just a marketing term by the Wi-Fi Alliance. So 802.11 is the IEEE name, standard name or protocol name that is being given to the Wi-Fi technology. So how the protocol is implemented, and then how the actual real-time deployments take place. That's where this exam mainly focuses on. So protocols are very important for dev and QA team, and deployments are very important for admins. So that's how I classify this. And some people have already asked me, many people ask me this question. So how do they compare to Cisco certification? So the most famous certification in the industry, I would say, is CCNA, right? Cisco Certified Network Admin. So that's where every one of us, each and every individual who entered into this networking world, either in the dev team or QA team or admin, we do the CCNA and we certify ourselves as we know all the basic knowledge in networking, right? So this is almost, not almost, this in all ways equivalent to CCNA, which is the wired certification. So the CWNA is a wireless alternative for Cisco certifications like CCNA, and it has good difficulty levels. So it's not a very easy thing, right? We'll see about the exam course and content in the next slide. So value, so it provides a lot of value. So once you have CWNA in your resume, or once you have it, right, once you are certified, right, it means that you know a high level of 8.2.11 protocols or technologies. And all these exams, whatever I showed you in the first slide, right, second slide, all these exams have a 3 year shelf life, which means this year is 2024. You're going to attempt and take the exam. Fortunately, you get to pass it with your hard work. Then after 3 years, so 3 years from this January 2024, your exam is going to expire on the same day which you took before 3 years. So it needs to be renewed, which means you have to retake the exam again for your certification to renew itself. So that also is taken care by CWNP. So that exam details I'll come in the next slide. And where do you take this? So post-COVID, even Cisco or other certifications, wired level certifications, all have become online, right? After the COVID times. So you don't need to go and search for an exam center. For example, if you are living in a country, right, you don't need to go and search your nearest exam center. You can take this online. So you buy a voucher from CWNP and then you take the exam online. So that's how it works. And the latest exam. So the latest exam is CWNA 109. So this is the exam code. So 109 is the exam code. The previous exam was 108, which expired in the December 2023 timeframe. So this 109 exam was released very recently. I would say now we are in Jan 2024, right? It was released around September 2023. So it won't expire until, I would say, 2026 or 7, if you calculate 3 years from now. Then it almost, it's up to date. It features technologies up to .11ax or 6E, which is the 6 gigahertz band in Wi-Fi. So some people might be running in their minds like Wi-Fi 7 is the latest standard, but the standard has not yet been ratified. So maybe once it ratifies, the exam will update itself after 3 years. So after 3 years, we'll be adding some Wi-Fi 7 content in this exam, and we'll be seeing that. So then Wi-Fi 8 will come. Then that's how it works, right? So once the standard has been ratified and amended, we see the courses and materials following the standard. Then, as I already reiterated, it's available online and worldwide. Anybody from any country can take it. So duration will be 90 minutes for this exam, and then there'll be a set of 60 questions which you need 70% pass rate. If you see the next point, you need a 70% pass rate required to pass this exam or to obtain the CWNA certification. So if at all you are not able to pass, then you need to reattempt. If you fail in the first attempt, then you need to purchase a separate voucher and then you can reattempt. So moving on to, I hope this slide clarified about the exam. And one thing is, even though it's an online exam, let me tell you how do you buy the voucher. So you go to the CWNP site, you have all the resources tab. Maybe I'll show it to you once this PPT is over. So you buy the exam voucher, which is valid again for 2 years. Then you take the exam at whatever time or whatever month you are comfortable with. Then you sit for the exam, you spend 90 minutes, you attempt 60 questions, out of which you need to have a 70% pass rate. So what does this exam cover? So anybody will have that question, right? Anyone will have that question. So this, as I said, 802.11 protocols and standards is going to cover. So that's a high level view. So if you go somewhat in depth, right, you'll understand what exactly does this exam is going to cover. So out of those 60 questions, the questions are designed in a way such that there has been a division of percentages. So first thing is RF technologies. So Wi-Fi works over the air, it doesn't depend on any wired medium, right? So how this radio frequency mechanism work? So that's how that module is given around 15% in the 60 question exam. So if you take the whole CWNA material, this is the split up of how what focus is going to be on which module. So you can see the domain, knowledge domain in the left hand side in the table, and percentage of the percentage, I would say weightage. I would say more of a weightage that is given to the domain. So this RF technologies predominantly focus on the phi layer. If at all, if you are from the networking background, you would understand what a phi layer means. So how the phi layer works, how the radio transmissions are done. So all these things are focused on the RF technologies. Then WLAN regulation and standards. As you know, this IEEE is going to release .11 or Wi-Fi standards every 4 years, and we are going to have a working group assigned. For example, the Wi-Fi 7 standard is going to be ratified around this year, 2024, and devices are going to be certified by the Wi-Fi Alliance. So regulations and standards, they are going to give 20 percentage of weightage. Then you come to the protocols and devices. So there are many protocols, right, in Wi-Fi standard. So devices, just Wi-Fi devices, what a sniffer does, or what a AP does, or what a station does, or STA does. So it talks about all this in this module with a weightage of 20%. Then network architecture and design concept. So this is where the admin part comes in. So how do you design a Wi-Fi network? So what are all the criteria that you need to take into account when you are a network engineer or Wi-Fi admin, where you deploy a enterprise Wi-Fi into a big university or big hospital or stadiums or whatever real-time use cases or scenarios that you can think of. Then comes the network security part. So this is where they focus on the WPA2, WPA3, Diffie-Hellman exchange, all the networks OWE, all the network security, Wi-Fi security standards, right? So that they have given a separate module and given a weightage of only 10%. Why is that so? Because as I showed you in the previous slide, I might have missed it. So here comes another important certification called CWSP, which is the Certified Wireless Security Professional. So I have missed it, but anyway, I'll add it in the slide. So CWDP, CWAP, and then comes CWSP, which is a separate professional level certification for security professionals. So it mainly focuses on all the ciphers or authentication protocols, or this Wi-Fi security. All these things are focused on the CWSP. So since it's a separate exam, that's why they have given the weightage and the percentage to be less. And when you introduce a lot of security concepts and ciphers and authentication protocols, then this CWNA will become more tedious. So that's why they have given less percentage. So they have taken all the security content to the professional level exam. So that's why we have the 10% weightage to this security module. Then you have the RF validation and remediation. So this predominantly they focus on the how to troubleshoot. So how do you, if at all you encounter an issue, how do you troubleshoot it's due to the RF or PHY or MAC layer, or what exactly is happening? So how do you remediate RF radio frequency things? So they've given 20% weightage. So this is the high level view of all the domains that the exam is targeting. So I won't say because network security is given only 10%, it's not important. No, not like that. So based on this percentage or weightage, the questions will be distributed. For example, WLAN regulation standards, protocols and devices, or RF validation. All these three have 20%, right, weightage. So there will be lots of question on these three modules. That means the next thing will be the RF technologies, which is having 15%, and the network architecture and design concepts as 15. So the next priority will be for this module. So that's how the exam is designed. So that's how the questions are designed in mind. So when you sit for an exam, you can clearly see that the high priority percentages will have more tough questions, and they'll focus more on those modules. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, so this one, I hope many of you will have this question. So what is the primary difference when you take CCNA and CWNA? So CCNA is mainly targeted into people working into the wired networking. For example, it's a proprietary technology stack, which is from Cisco. So Cisco, they are the market leaders in wired networks. I would say they have lots of patents, and they created this certification for their employees as well as for the other individuals who are working outside the Cisco, but they are using the Cisco's proprietary tools, I mean, or devices. So Cisco router, L3 router or L2 router, and what are all switches, all these things. Whatever, when you use a Cisco product in your organization, then obviously if you take CCNA, you are going to perform better at it because you know inside out of the Cisco world. Then this CCNA will almost touch upon all the TCP/IP layers. So it doesn't focus only on the MAC or PHY. It focuses on all, including the application layer. Because if you see the CCNA exam itself, you can see Cisco's applications. They'll be demonstrating how Cisco applications work or how the Cisco cloud will work. So it's predominantly based on the proprietary technology stack, which is from Cisco. So if you take CCNA, it means that you have a very good networking understanding of how network layer works, of how the data link layer works, and you will understand lots of new terminologies and other things. But it's all contained to Cisco. Some modules may ask you to study outside of Cisco, like general networking concepts, but still the focus will be on the Cisco devices only. But when you take CWNA, for people who are into the wireless networking background, it's all vendor neutral. It's not focusing on any OEMs or SoC vendors like Qualcomm or Broadcom. And it touches only on the MAC and PHY. For example, L2 and L1, those who have worked in the networking, they'll understand what the MAC and PHY layer means. So the most focus will be on only these two layers because Wi-Fi works only in these two layers. Wi-Fi is a technology that works only on MAC and PHY, right? And RF fundamentals, as I said before, it will focus on the how the air medium, which is the off duplex medium, how it works, and Wi-Fi protocols and standard 802.11 or IEEE protocols like ABG, NX, AC, AX, or the latest 6E standard. So, and deployment strategies, as I already told for admins, how do you design a Wi-Fi network? When you deploy a Wi-Fi network, what are all the real-time challenges that you're going to face? And what are all tools you can do to do survey, site survey, or all these deployment things for admins, right? Though there also there's some focuses there in CWNA. And CCNA is from Cisco, and obviously, as we told, CWNA is from CWNP Group, which is the Certified Wireless Network Professionals, individual organization not related to any OEMs or ODMs. It's an individual organization offering only wireless certifications. With this understanding, we'll go to the next slide. So this is, I hope you might have understood where this is going, right? Where CWNP is targeting. So some resources that what I researched and found out, some of the best resources I can say. So the study guides, you have the study guides. Don't be overwhelmed by it. It will have around 1,000 or 900 some pages like that. So very detailed, very contains lots of theory. Two study guides that are the industry standard or gold standard, I would say. These two books are the best ones for CWNA, even though you have other books and exams questions, right? So first book is from Cybex, I would say, which is some authors like Coleman and Westcott. So David Coleman and David, they are the veterans in Wi-Fi industry, I would say. So this first book is very detailed. So it contains lots of practice questions and it's more theoretical. So if you want to really dig in deep and understand what Wi-Fi means with real examples, then this is the best book that you can sit and study. For any newcomers, I would recommend this book by Coleman and Westcott. So I guess this book has not yet been updated for the latest exam, but we are looking forward to get it released soon. Like it will be released soon in Amazon US or Amazon India. So the example book which I have given covers only the CWNA 108, which is an older exam. Now it has expired. By December, it has expired. And individuals who are looking forward or aspirants who are looking forward to take the exam, they need to take only 109 exam, which is the latest. And the other book, which is the official CWNP guide. So when I say official, it means that it has been endorsed or approved by the CWNP group, which is the key stakeholder or the key owner of the CWNA exam. So they themselves have released a book, which is the official CWNP guide. So this is more of a precise book. So you don't see much of a theory or blah blah like. not beating around the bush. It just simply it will show some pointers where exactly. If you say RF technologies, it will directly introduce you to OFDMA, or it will directly introduce you to a short guard interval. So it is very precise and up to the point book. So I would recommend this book to be taken or and read by the people who are already in the Wi-Fi industry, because most of the people who are in the Wi-Fi industry, they don't want to read things from the scratch. They straight away want to know the exam objectives, and they straight away want it as a reference guide. So they might have already known all the concepts. They don't need to. They just need some resource for their brush up, right? Or they might have forgotten some concept or standard. They want to understand. They want to recall. So those kind of people, my suggestion is to read this official CWNP kit. Even though it's also 700 800 pages broad, but it's very crisp, like it's precise up to the point, and it doesn't beat around the bush, or try to explain you a concept. So it directly pushes you the concept, and you can straight away gain all the objectives of the exam. So we saw what are the books that we need, and we the next best thing that you need to pass the exam is the practice test. So who are providing this practice test? So CWNP themselves are providing this practice test in the website. If you go into the cwnp.com certification/CWNA, which I have given here, so you can see the practice test there. Of course, it's not for free, since they have painstakingly created this exam and created the objectives and created the tests, right? So the practice test contains a pool of questions. For example, whatever questions you get in the exam, not the actual questions, but questions designed around that model, right? So you get a 60 questions or 120 questions based on the cost that is involved. You get to see around the actual test. You have a feeling that you are taking the real test, and you assess yourself. So that's the main advantage of this practice test, other than leaking out the questions or telling what the actual test will contain. Instead of that practice, there it's like more as a self-assessment. So if you take this test, you are gaining confidence, and you can sit for the exam with passing criteria. Then I would suggest the next best thing will be the online learning. So even CWNP themselves, they are providing video lectures or video sessions, of course, again associated with the cost. Then Udemy is the other next good place to understand the CWNA exam. They are also updated their course content to CWNA 109. Then CBT Nuggets, some people might have known, some old timers might have known this. They are the best in the industry. Like their training is some of the best. Anyway, I'm not marketing or anything here. Just telling you what I did what I learned from my R&D, right? And timeline. So this is also the next question you'll have. How much time you minimum need? That again depends on the individual's expertise and individual's capabilities. But still, if you're from the networking background and you have worked in a Wi-Fi access point or Wi-Fi station, you just need 3 months of hard work to pass this exam. But again, it varies by individual. Each individual has his or her own learning curve, and you have to find your own time. People with a family, they have to find their own time, and they have to start the preparation. So it all depends on the individual, but the average, as per CWNP, the average time will be 3 months of preparation is needed. Then this practice test will definitely help a lot for pass rate, and regression is the key. Again, like for any software, we say regression is the key. Same like that for this exam or any exam, any technology certificate stack exam, you need to regressively do it, right? So you take the practice test, you study the material wholeheartedly, like that's how you gain the pass or certification. Then I won't say you need a lab or devices or anything. You just need some hands-on with Wi-Fi frames. So very basic hands-on, because the CWAP, which I showed in the first slide, right? CWAP analysis professional, the professional level, that needs a lot of hands-on with the Wi-Fi frames. But since this is the intermediate exam, the CWNA doesn't need much Wi-Fi frame analysis using Wireshark. So we usually do capture Wi-Fi frames, and we use Wireshark to analyze the frames, right? To understand what's wrong in the network, whether it's a Phi issue or MAC issue. So you need some hands-on with the Wi-Fi frames, but I won't say if you don't do hands-on also with theoretical knowledge, you can still pass the exam. But if you really want to work in the industry and understand how Wi-Fi works, it's better you have some hands-on with Wi-Fi frames. So whatever Wi-Fi frames that are listed in the CWNA books, right? You just follow that. And as I already reiterated, you can check the website for more details on this exam. So these are the guides that I showed you. So yeah, this is, we are coming almost, we are reaching to the end. So what is life after certification? So yeah, even this also is, many people will have their questions, right? So what exactly, how do you feel like once you are certified? What is your scope? So what is your scope in your current organization, or what is your scope in tech life? So for dev, QA, and admins, they can all triage. Triage means research, further go in depth, right? So they can triage WLAN issues more confidently, I would say. And perform RCA with these. RCA is nothing but root cause analysis. So when you find a Wi-Fi issue, you don't have a clue what is going on. So when you are certified, you obviously means that you know the high level of Wi-Fi operations. So how Wi-Fi works and what protocols are involved. So you perform the RCA, root cause analysis, when you encounter a bug in your AP software or in your station software, or when you are admin, you run into a Wi-Fi issue, then you understand what's really is going to happen, how you're going to target it, and with RCA. Then keep up to date with .11 protocols. Obviously, this is the best thing that you learn once you are certified. You understand how the .11 protocols work and standards. What are the recently released standards at a high level? I won't say in depth. You learn all this. You just learn this at a high level. Then Mac and Fi operations. So as I said, Wi-Fi works mostly in these two areas, two OSI stacks or TCP/IP stacks. So you understand how the Mac and Fi operations work together to do a wireless transmission. Then participate in .11 conversation with deeper understanding. Obviously, when you get into a Wi-Fi meeting, or when you sit for a war room with you in your respective organization, you have more understanding. So because you know how the technology actually works now. Then once you finish this, obviously, if you are more interested and you are in a Wi-Fi industry, you will climb the ladder, go for a professional level certification like CWAP, which is the Certified Wireless Analysis Professional. So that takes the expertise to the next level. So it has lots of packet captures involved. You go deep into the MAC and file layers, understand how the frame exchanges happen. So that's how you, once you are done with the CWNA, obviously, with your interest, you pursue CWAP or CWSP or whatever professional certification that you can do. So, yeah, I'll finish it. So some two questions I chose from the book that I showed you, so that it could be tricky. So it's not very easy. So somebody might think that once you attend the practice test, or once you read the book for once and then you attend some video sessions from CBT Nuggets, you can easily crack the exam. No, it doesn't work like that. As I said before, it has the same difficulty level as CCNA and same value as CCNA. So two questions, maybe Wi-Fi experts here, maybe, or why people working in the industry might understand. So what these two questions means and how tricky they have set up the questions, right? For example, when I go to the last question, right, the question number 36. So to reduce MAC layer overload as defined by the .11n 2009 amendment. So obviously, if you see MAC layer, you will get excited and you will say MSDU and AMSDU. So no, that's not the right answer. So it's like AMSDU and AMPDU, because .11n introduced aggregation mechanisms, right? So and to reduce MAC overload, you aggregate the MAC and file layer packets. So that's how you derive with the answer, like AMSDU, MAC service data unit, and protocol data unit. So some of the question, and you need to understand, memorize a lot of numbers. For example, you know .11 B or G works in the 2.4, but you might have never noted or never encountered the actual frequency numbers before. So that's the first question. So what are all the Wi-Fi 4 radios, which is the .11n radios, they operate on which frequency band? So you need to memorize a lot of numbers. Just an example I'm giving you. So there are other numbers as well. So to take up the exam or to certify, to pass, you need to memorize some numbers, so that you gain a deeper understanding of the RF fundamentals, or how the Wi-Fi technology works, right? So these are some of the sample questions. There are more tricky questions, but once you get your hands on in the book, or you get your hands on in the material, you'll understand how tricky they have set the questions up. That's all. I'm done for today. And if you, I'll open up for a few questions if you have.
regarding CWSP, is it mandatory for CWNA?
CWSP is mandate. No, as I said, right? CWNE is a professional level I mean, a CWNE is a expert level certification. Let me walk through the things again for you. See the ladder, Sundar. So this is how it works. So this beginner level certifications are not mandatory for any of the other certifications that if you are going to climb up the ladder. So once you do CWNA, you go for the professional level, DP and AP. Here comes the SP. Unfortunately, I've missed it, but still it's a very important certification, CWSP. So for CWNE, I'll tell you what are the things you need. You don't need the beginner level. So you need the CWNA. First, you need to pass the CWNA. Then you need the CWDP, you need the CWAP, then you need the CWSP. So there comes three exams you need for to gain the expert level. And for expert level, you need lots of other things also. Apart from this four certification, which is the CWNA, DP, AP, and SP, you need lots of other things. Like I'll tell you in short, maybe you can read in detail over the website of CWNP. What you need for CWN is you need a mentor or you need a proctor who can communicate with you, and he has to recommend you to the CWNP team actually. So once you pass all these exams, you need to submit a project, or it goes on like that. So you can read about that CWNE in the website. I hope this satisfied your question. So the next question is weapon. So does OEMs consider guys with CWNP certs, as do they do have their own certs for wireless? Yeah, this depends. Again, I don't want to get into the OEM games. For some OEMs, they have their own Wi-Fi stack. They have their own Wi-Fi connected APs and cloud APs, all those things. So they might have their own certifications, because they want individuals working in their organizations to be certified so that they can gain expertise on their own products. But this certification is primarily targeted at individuals who want to gain Wi-Fi knowledge irrespective of their product that they're working on. So it's vendor neutral. Again, I'm coming to that point. Yeah. Can we get similar level of questions given in each chapter in CWNA? What is that? Can we expect similar level of questions given in each chapter? I don't understand your question. Can you rephrase it?
So I mean, if you look on the Cybex book of the CWNA guide, on every chapter end there are some practice questions, right?
Packet questions.
Practice questions.
Practice, okay. Practice questions,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yes,
Similar
there are
questions
there.
will be asked in the CWNA
No, no,
actual
no,
exam.
no, no. That's wrong. That's wrong assumption. I mean, that's a different assumption from you. So I already told this, right? So they are just to reassess you. So they're not the actual exam questions. So for exams questions, you have two ways. One is you really gain the expertise, and then you sit in the exam and you Otherwise, you do a lot of practice tests and you understand what majorly how the questions are designed in mind. So that's kind of a shortcut, but still I advise you to take the correct route. So you digest the material, you do the practice test diligently and religiously, then you sit for the exam. You are that by that time you are already an expert in Wi-Fi, so you know how in and out how Wi-Fi works. So those are not the actual exam questions, guys. There are multiple courses on Udemy for
No, I
CW
meant
and
actually, sorry, John. So I meant like the questions or some questions are multiple, require some questions for multiple answers are right, like MCQ questions. So
okay.
in that manner, that will be. I'm not asking about the same question will be repeated. I'm asking the
Mhm.
same manner or.
Correct. See, one question. Yes, I can give you the right answer for this. Let me go to the question side. So, for example, I understood your question. So, let me show the question second for you. See, these are the sample questions, right? See the bracket in each after 35th. If you see the 35th question, right? See the bracket that ends in the question. Choose all that apply. So this is how they assess you, right? Some questions will have one answer, one choice. So then they won't give you this bracket. Choose all that apply. They won't give you this choice. So if at all they feel there has to be multiple answers, then obviously they'll give you the choose all that apply. Then you have the hint there. So you have to select what are the answers that are applicable to this particular question. Does this answer your question?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, okay. So moving on to Harish. So there are multiple courses on Udemy for CWNA 109. Can you suggest? Just see the time stamp, Harish. So there could be some time stamp where when the exam was released. So that time you'll understand which is the latest one. So I don't think there should be multiple courses. Maybe I also need to check the Udemy website because I haven't checked in a while. But check the timestamp. Maybe the latest timestamp is the latest exam. I mean, latest course. Hope that answered your question. So, Veepan, maybe I missed your intro. Please let me know the expertise in this stack of search from CWNP. Well, let me know your expertise search done in the stack. No, as I said, right, I'm also aspirant like you. I did some R&D and I purchased the exam voucher and books and resources from the CWNP website. But I myself I'm just preparing. I'm in the preparation stage. But since I have over 10 years of industrial experience, I can vouch, like I can vouch for this exam and I can answer your question. So I have equivalent industrial experience, but I am not certified in any way. Like I'm going to be certified, but once I take the exam and pass, I'll be certified. Maybe that answered your question, Vipan. So I'm working on wireless as stack engineer from 2 years now. So now getting to know about QA and dev, it is possible to move to QA. Yes, yes. See, I cannot comment on your jumps, but still, with my experience, I can tell you, TAC is not an easy role. I understand TAC is equivalently, it's almost a difficult role, right? So you might have gained some Wi-Fi knowledge from now 2 years. I think you have a fair idea of how this works, and you might have worked on many real-time issues as a tech engineer. So obviously you can move. Your experience is less. You can move to QA and dev. Yes, you can move. You just take this exam and gain more knowledge on Wi-Fi, how the protocols or standards associate. Then you can make your move. But I cannot comment more on that. Actually, it's up to you. Yeah, I think you forgot to mention about the discount that no, yes, I didn't mention this because the discounts are now gone. Like, see, every year, two times the discounts might arrive. One is the Black Friday deal where you get multiple study materials, practice test, and all combined into one combo offer. We say we say as a combo offer in India, right? For anything that we purchase. So it lands as a combo offer. Then the other month where this combo offer is arriving is the Christmas, from December 20th to January 4th or 5th. I'm not sure. But now recently when I saw the offer is gone. Like you have to wait for either Black Friday deal or you need to pay the full amount to purchase whatever you want, the resources like practice tests or exams or books, whatever you want. But the combo offer is very good, I would say. You can save around in INR. I felt that we can save around 14,000 or something in INR, in Indian rupee. I hope this answered your questions. Fine. I guess we don't have any more questions, or shall I wait for a minute more to see if you have any more questions? Oh, yeah,
Fine
this
question.
question I was expecting. Yes. Yeah, this is one of the most frequently asked questions because it works like this. So, when a new exam is released, you get the older exam resources in the dark web, which means you pirate some copies and you get it. But still, as I said, right, this 109 also adds 6C concepts, or .11ex focuses more on the .11ex and 6C. So, you can have a fair understanding when you read the 108 study guide, but still I would advise you, because see, each and every question in the exam is important. You pay hundreds of dollars and you're buying a voucher. So if you miss some of the questions since you didn't have the enough resources or books, or you missed some content because you didn't have the latest version of the book, then it's going to be a heavy loss for you. If you, for unfortunately, if you are not able to pass, then you are the one going to lose your money, right? So I always, you are going to, you're going for the exam, you're paying for the exam, then why don't you pay some extra money and get the latest itself? So go for the latest CWNA 109 resources or books or practice test, and you equip yourself for the latest questions, right? CWNP is also providing CWICP. Is it required to complete CWNA? CWICP, this like IoT certified professionals. Yeah, CWNP is running a separate track for the IoT world, which is the low power or low frequency based devices, IoT devices like smart watches or wearables or smart washing machines, something like that, IoT. So if you want to pursue that track, obviously you can go for the track, but this I need to see Hari Krishnan. I need to check the website because I was focused more on the CWNA. I missed this IoT track, but I don't think IoT track is coming up, right? IoT is just coming up. I won't say it's not very important, but still there's a separate track for that. What we are seeing is the Wi-Fi track. Do you have any mentor to guide you through prep for CWNA? Yeah, no, mentor, right? Mentor, I would say no mentor. Since I have some industrial experience, I have to read the book and take the practice questions and understand what really is happening, right? So you take the if you want any mentors, I would suggest you take the CBT Nuggets course or any course that you find comfortable, either the Udemy course or anything. So mentor wise, I need to check in India who is teaching this. I don't I saw many CCNA mentors. I never saw any CWNA mentors. Maybe since after Wi-Fi 7, I think the technology will ramp up more and we can see more. How much is the CWNA exam cost? Do you have any free retries? No, no, no. As I said, there are no free retries. Once you fail, you fail. Then you take the pay a new voucher. You pay for the new voucher and re-attempt the exam again. You just gain some experience on the failed exam, but doesn't mean that you can go for the retry again. No free retries, nothing. So this exam cost varies. So as I said, for Black Friday deals and Christmas New Year sales, you get the exam in a very discounted manner. Otherwise, it's going to cost you around more than $150, I would say. So the reattempts cost same as fresh one. Yes, yes, correct. Reattempts are going to reattempts. They don't consider you as reattempting candidate. They give you a new voucher and you are going to appear as a new candidate. So that's the thing. So there are no more questions. Then I hope we are already ahead of our time. Then maybe Vishnu can take over.
Yeah, I think thanks. I have to first
One
thank.
last question I'll take. Yeah, one last question. Can we expect Wi-Fi 7 to be covered in CWNA 1 on 10? Yes, 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 yes. That's scheduled. Like it's obvious. Like we don't expect it. It's going to happen anyway. So Wi-Fi, see, in 108, there was no much focus on 6E. They just sent a paragraph that 6E is coming. But here in 109, they are focused more on the 6E channels and available bandwidth, all those things. So obviously dot 11B, which is Wi-Fi 7 that is coming up, it will have enough content to more make us more technical with the standard in 1 on 10. But 1 on 10 is far away, Harish. You don't need to worry about it now. It's almost 3 years from now. Yeah, thanks, guys.